Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about our AR15 on our AR15 build series. Last week we finished our upper receiver. Finally, I have put in a BCG and a charging handle for those of you who are wondering. Those are so subjective and everybody's got their own personal preference, and honestly, it's not really considered an install. I mean, it's like a 68 or LPVO or iron sights. Like you put them on, take them off, swap them out, do whatever. It's not part of the build itself. So that's why I didn't really go over that. But today we're gonna be talking about takedown pins and pivot pins, but more specifically, just the pivot pin today. The reason why we're going over just the pivot pin, which is the one in the front, and not the takedown pin, which is the one in the back, is because the one in the back has a spring hole where you put the spring in, the detent and all that kind of stuff, but it's being held in place against the buffer tube or buttstock, whatever you're using. So just like how the pistol grip is kind of one and the same with the safety, with the pin and the detent, and kind of got to do the two things at once in order to make one thing work, it's the same exact concept with your buffer tube or your buttstock, whatever you're using, and your takedown pin, spring, and detent. So I will say this. If you're not patient and you want to know today exactly how to do it, it's pretty simple. Detent pin goes point down first in the hole. Right there. You see the hole? Boop. Right there. Well, it's focused on me, but you get the idea. The hole is right here. There it is. There it is. There's the hole. Detent pin goes in first. Then the spring. You're going to lay this guy or prop this guy up on your table. And with the butt plate and your buttstock, you're going to push down on the spring. Now be very careful with this, because if you're pushing down with your thumb or another unconventional tool or buttstock or whatever, it's very easy for whatever that is that's trying to push down on it to slip off, and that spring will literally launch in the air. And I don't know what it is about these springs. No other spring on the gun does this, but this takedown pin spring launches into the air and it never comes down. So just be very careful with that and have a few springs on hand. Let's talk about what you'll need. First and foremost, I am using ArmaSpec takedown pin and pivot pin set. It comes with everything I need. I say it almost every single video. I love ArmaSpec, man. These guys, they are so cheap, but the quality is so high end. It's like going to HEB. Everything is cheap, but just way better than everything else. So it's like, duh, ArmaSpec. And honestly, I have a lot of ArmaSpec stuff. Hasn't failed me yet. Now for this one in particular, you're not gonna need any kind of punches or roll pin starters or anything crazy like that. You're just gonna need iPro, because if this spring comes up and hits you in the eyeball, it's not my fault, it's not ArmaSpec's fault or whoever's company you're using. It's not their fault, it's your fault, okay? So iPro, here's my iPro. I've also been doing this for quite a while and I'm a pretty good spring dodger, so there's that too. Then you're gonna just need your little fingers and your hands and then the tools itself, and it's literally that easy. So let's just jump right into this build. Okay, as you can see, there's two different pins, two different sizes. One is takedown pin, one is pivot pin. You can tell which one is which by looking at the pins themselves. So the one that is, man, can we focus today? Is it cool if we all focus? As you can see, one is completely flat on the other side, while the other is nice and round all the way through. The one that's nice and round all the way through is your takedown pin. Your pivot pin is flat on one side. Everybody see that? That is your takedown pin, and that is because that end goes just like that. See how it, there we go. See how it kind of just fits flush right here? Up against this little tube. That is where your spring and detent go. So the way this works, please be very careful, okay? Your spring, I'm already scared. Your spring is gonna go directly inside this hole right here. Everybody see that little hole right there? Okay, spring goes in there. Your detent goes right on top of that spring. You've gotta be freaking with my mind right now. I need a flashlight. I did forget to mention that these detents also disappear when they get launched. Luckily, this one didn't launch. I just dropped it. So It's here somewhere. I'm gonna freak out if I don't find it. So, as an example, you can see how scary this is. Usually, whenever I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'm doing it at work, and it's not my gun, and it's not my pieces. So if anything were to get lost, it's okay. But this is my gun. So unconventional tool time. What I've seen people do before in the past is they will use a razor blade. So let me go get a razor blade. Here's the razor blades. So the scary thing that we do here is put this guy in here like this. This is where we start losing them. So what I'm doing is with one hand and my needle nose, I am pushing down, getting it into place. And I use my razor blade. And the reason why we use razor blades is because it is so, they are so thin. Just don't cut yourself, please. Just like this. Boom. Takedown pin is now in. And the way it's designed, just like that, you're going to stop it in place and it'll close in place. And just like that, we have our pivot pin in place. Now, like I said, next week, if you're patient, just bear with me here, we'll go ahead and insert our takedown pin. But the takedown pin is going to be pretty much the same exact thing, except we're going to have a big old buttstock or a buffer tube in place of that. So anyways, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're liking it, subscribe, comment, hit the notification button, do all the things that let me know that you like this kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.